And this is the sort of thing that Neil Postman is getting at when he uses that example of smoke signals in the text, right? He explains that you can't use smoke signals to do political philosophy or philosophy of any kind. Right? And the idea makes sense, as exaggerated as it is. Smoke signals only can send certain sorts of messages, right? They can alert someone. So how are you going to talk about abstract ideas of philosophy when the only tool you have is smoke? Right? In a sense, it's similar to those tools of the emoticons above versus the complexity of some human emotions that we're not able to get across visually. In the text, right, he teases this out even a little more when he talks about the distinction between what he calls the typographic age and the television age or the visual age. Right? One interesting example that he doesn't mention in this particular section of the text, but he does allude to later on, is the idea that the first televised presidential debate was between John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon. And for the individuals who watched the debate on television, they assumed that John F. Kennedy won. Whereas for the individuals who listened to it on the radio, they assumed that Richard Nixon had won. And the folks who saw it on television liked how John F. Kennedy looked. Right? Richard Nixon was sweating profusely, whereas John F. Kennedy, right, was clean shaven, was able to hold himself well, right? He just overall had a better appearance, right? Now, the people who listened to it on the radio, of course, were listening only to the ideas. So they were listening to the logic of the policies that Richard Nixon was talking about. So there again, we have a really clear idea of how the medium by which we share information frames exactly how we understand the information, and it even frames the types of information that we can share. Let's continue a little bit below.